Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a world where everything you could possibly do exists, right? All those infinite possibilities just stretching out.
A vast landscape of potential.
Exactly. But then, in a single moment, only one of those things actually does happen. It becomes real.
That tension, yeah,
Yeah,
between what could be and what is.
right. And that tension, that incredible interplay between like boundless potential and singular manifest reality,
Hmm.
it's not just some abstract puzzle. It's really at the very heart of our deep dive today.
It really is. It touches everything.
So we're embarking on this mission, this exploration, to see how our entire experience of reality, from the, tiniest quantum particle all the way up to our own consciousness, might be governed by these two really profound, yet, well, they seem opposite
Well,
principles.
indeterminacy and exclusivity.
Yes. And the key thing is, these aren't just like high-level physics concepts stuck in a lab somewhere. They map directly, fundamentally onto our lived experience, onto the choices you make every single day.
That connection to experience is crucial.
Totally. Today, we're going to unveil what we see as the two central pillars of, well, maybe a new revolution. And this isn't just about quantum mechanics or physics in isolation.
No, it branches out. It connects to gravitational consciousness, even personal experience.
Precisely. These two concepts, indeterminacy and exclusivity, and their surprising complementarity. It's elegant, really. It might not just explain bits and pieces, but could actually lead us towards a kind of grand unified theory.
A framework for existence itself, potentially.
Wouldn't that be something? So to guide us, we'll be looking at some fascinating sources. We've got historical stuff from the pioneers, Heisenberg and Bohr. Their early chats kind of laid the groundwork.
Foundational conversations, absolutely.
And we'll also look at some really cutting-edge ideas that connect the cosmos to our own minds. It's like this tapestry where physics, consciousness, maybe even old archetypes are all woven together.
It gets pretty deep.
It does. So yeah, this is a deep dive into the very fabric of what's real and, critically, how it becomes real for you.
Okay, where do we start?
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting, I think, where this revolution truly began. Let's set the stage with the foundational moment in quantum physics, an idea that just completely flipped our old classical view of the universe on its head.
You're talking about Heisenberg.
Exactly. Back in 1927, the German physicist Werner Heisenberg introduced what we now call the uncertainty principle, although maybe indeterminacy principle is a bit more precise, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Uncertainty implies it's just about our knowledge, our measurement limits. Indeterminacy suggests it's more fundamental than that.
Right. And that's the key point. This wasn't just about our tools being clumsy, like our microscopes not being sharp enough. Heisenberg's insight was way deeper.
Much deeper.
He found this fundamental inherent limit to how precisely you can know certain pairs of properties of a particle at the same time. Like the classic example is its position and its momentum, its path information, basically.
The more you pin down one.
The fuzzier the other one becomes. And it's not because you messed up the measurement. It's just how reality is at that level.
An intrinsic feature of the quantum world.
Think of it like trying to describe a wave. You can pinpoint its exact location, like the very peak of a ripple right now.
Go.
But if you focus just on that point, you lose the sense of its overall movement, its direction, its momentum. It just becomes a point.
You lose the waveness.
Exactly. And conversely, if you focus on the wave's general flow, its speed across the water, well, then its precise location at any given instant becomes blurry, sort of smeared out, undefined.
It's not that you can't see both aspects sharply. It's that the wave itself doesn't possess both with perfect sharpness simultaneously.
Right. It's not a flaw in our camera. It's the nature of the quantum realm. It's inherently fuzzy, a realm of potential rather than fixed points.
But what's really amazing is how fast Niels Bohr jumped on this. Just months after Heisenberg, also in 1927, Bohr introduces his idea of complementarity.
Stemming directly from their talks, right, which were apparently quite intense.
Oh yeah, legendary debates. But Bohr was absolutely convinced that these two things, Heisenberg's indeterminacy and his own concept, which we're framing today as exclusivity, he saw them as the two keys for the new quantum mechanics, his words.
Wow. The two keys.
He saw them as inseparable, two sides of the same coin, both absolutely fundamental. And this idea of complementarity, which is really rooted in this notion of exclusivity, it became the absolute essence, the interpretive core of the Copenhagen interpretation, the CI.
Which is still pretty much the standard way people interpret quantum mechanics, isn't it?
By and large, yes. It's the foundation. So when we talk about exclusivity or, quantum collapse or decoherence, we're really talking about the core mechanism. It's how the quantum world, this realm of like infinite possibilities,
Mm.
transitions into one single definite outcome that we can actually observe.
The moment potential becomes actual.
Precisely. That's the transition.
Okay, so let's really try and nail down these two pillars then, make them super clear. Indeterminacy. That's the infinite potential, right? The superposition.
The potentiality state, yeah.
The inherent openness.
It's where like all possibilities exist at the same time. A
Yes.
particle in many places, a system in every possible state. It's the unmanifest, pre-physical, this huge shimmering field of could be.
A sea of potential.
Yeah, I like that. And then bam, you have exclusivity. That's the collapse, the decoherence.
Right. The actualized state. It's that moment where all those infinite potentials, all the could base, just reduce down to one exclusive outcome.
Only one makes it through.
Only one. This is the manifest reality, the rendered experience, the single is that pops out from all the could base.
Okay.
And Bohr, to really get deeper into this, he emphasized what he called the fundamental impossibility of simultaneous observation.
Meaning you just can't have both at once, like
Yeah.
mutually exclusive things.
Exactly. You cannot co-realize mutually exclusive outcomes. You can't perfectly define both the particle's position and its momentum at the exact same instant. Knowing one precisely inherently excludes knowing the other precisely. Okay, that makes sense at the quantum level, but how does this map to us?
Think about your own life, your choices. You can imagine right now pursuing a career as, say, an astrophysicist or maybe a professional chef.
Okay, yeah. Two very different paths.
Mutually exclusive descriptions of your life, right? You can imagine getting married or staying single,
Yeah.
living in, I don't know, Tokyo or Buenos Aires.
Right. I can hold both ideas in my head as potentials.
Exactly. They exist as potentials in your mind. But the moment you enroll in culinary school, you move to Tokyo. The other possibility for that path becomes excluded. It resolves into one definite choice, one actualized reality.
The potential collapses into my lived experience.
That's a great way to put it. And here's the really elegant part, how Bohr connected the two principles. He argued that these relations of mutual exclusivity, like astrophysicist versus chef, were actually codified by the uncertainty relations.
Wait, codified? How?
Essentially, the very fuzziness, the indeterminacy, the limit on knowing everything precisely at the quantum level. That limit is what necessitates this exclusivity. The fact you can't know both position and momentum perfectly is what sets up the requirement that only one definite outcome gets observed.
Oh, okay. So the openness, the indeterminacy actually forces the exclusivity.
In a fundamental way, yes. It's not just a parallel. It's a deep relationship woven into the quantum fabric. The openness demands the resolution. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Wow. Okay. That leads us somewhere interesting then. This idea of recasting quantum theory in, what was the term? Phenomenological terms.
Phenomenologically, yeah. Sounds academic, but it's simple, really. It just means understanding quantum stuff, not just as, abstract math on a page.
Detached from us.
Right, but as directly related to how we experience reality, how the world appears to us, how definite space-time geometry emerges from a superposition of potential. It's about the experienced world.
So when an observer, and that could be a Geiger counter, or, us when we measure or just experience something.
We are, in this deep sense, probing one outcome. The act of observation, or even just interaction, isn't passive. It's not just recording what's already there, set in stone.
It's more active.
It's an active process of engaging with that field of potentiality to bring forth one specific actuality. It's how the unmanifest becomes manifest, how possibilities condense into the single reality we perceive.
Okay, this feels like a really important shift in perspective.
It is. And it brings us to this idea of a clean duality evoking clarity. We're looking at indeterminacy and exclusivity not as like enemies in a cosmic battle.
As a balanced pair.
A perfectly complementary duality, yeah. One that brings clarity to all the weirdness of quantum physics. It helps us avoid getting, lost in the sauce of confusing interpretations.
Keeps things grounded.
Exactly. So, just to recap, indeterminacy, potentiality state, unmanifest pre-physicality, all that could be.
The ocean of possibilities.
Perfect. And exclusivity, actualized state, manifest rendered experience, the one thing that is.
The wave hitting the shore.
Nice. And this framework explains exactly how any system goes from undetermined possibility to a singular, observable state. It's the journey from quantum weirdness to the world we actually live in. It maps out the emergence of reality.
So what does this all mean then for this grand unified idea? This is where it gets really profound, right? The new revolution bit.
This is where it really takes shape, yeah.
We found that indeterminacy and exclusivity, they don't just sit next to each other. They actually make a cross. They're
Right.
usefully orthogonal.
Orthogonal, like perpendicular lines on a graph.
Right, meaning they're distinct, they're independent in a way, but they intersect at this crucial point, and together they define the whole space.
They form the axes of reality, in a sense.
Yeah. Imagine this cross, this fundamental structure. The vertical axis, that's indeterminacy.
Going up and down.
Infinite.
Right, the shape of potential. Boundless. It's like openness to heaven, to infinity, the open possibility space stretching out forever, the infinite open axis, everything they could ever be. How high can you go?
Limitless potential. Then you have the horizontal axis. That's exclusivity.
Side to side, finite, grounded.
This is what governs actualization. It's the earthly plane, actual decision, the stark fact of one outcome only. It's the finite closed axis, concrete, definite.
The heart beating of what actually happens. How real can you get?
Exactly, and the intersection where these two meet, that's complementarity. But it's not just some vague philosophical idea anymore.
No, it's a formal cross, a mathematical bedrock almost.
Okay, wow, a formal cross.
And if we connect this back, remember Einstein's issues with Bohr's original complementarity. He thought it was, evasive, fuzzy. He couldn't quite pin it down in his deterministic view. How could two contradictory things both be necessary?
Yeah, the spooky action bothered him.
Right. But by reframing it as these two orthogonal absolutes, indeterminacy up-down, exclusivity left-right, we take Bohr's amazing intuition and, sharpen it, give it maximum clarity.
It's not fuzzy anymore, it's structured.
It's a structural intersection, a fundamental geometry where infinite potential meets finite outcome. And this is the revolution. It's a clear, formal understanding of how potential becomes actual.
And they need each other.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
They fundamentally require each other. You can't have actualization without a field of potential to choose from. And potential only really matters, only makes a difference when it gets actualized into something definite.
One defines the other.
Their orthogonality isn't just descriptive, it's prescriptive. It shows the core mechanism of reality manifesting.
Okay, so let's get into that mechanism then. How does it actually happen? Exclusivity is the mechanism of collapse, you said.
Exactly. It's the process. Those mutually exclusive descriptions, the career paths, the locations, whatever, they resolve into one single outcome.
And this matches the Copenhagen interpretation.
Perfectly. The CI says collapse reduces infinite potential to a single reality. Exclusivity is that reduction. It's the point where the wave function, describing all possibilities, snaps into one specific state.
Okay, and you mentioned Maya. How does that fit in?
Right. In some Eastern traditions, Maya isn't just illusion, like something fake. It's more like appearance from potential.
Ah, appearance from potential.
Yeah. The single, seemingly solid reality appearing out of that vast, unmanifest field of possibilities. It highlights that what we see as solid is really an emergent thing, a form arising from formless potential.
Like a projection.
Sort of. It implies that beneath the appearance, there's just this boundless potential, this void, and everything we see is like a play of light against that backdrop.
Okay, that's deep. Which leads us to consciousness. The von Neumann-Wigner interpretation.
Yes. This is where it gets, well, quite speculative for some, but very compelling. This view suggests that consciousness is the agent that exercises the exclusive choice.
Consciousness makes the choice.
Not necessarily creates reality from nothing, but it's the thing that collapses the indeterminate, infinite potential of the universe into a definite reality. It's the clean mind collapse citation, placing consciousness at the end of that quantum measurement chain. It plays an active role.
Whoa, okay, hang on. This raises a massive question, doesn't it, if this is right? Is our mind literally shaping reality? Like moment by moment?
According to this interpretation,
Yeah.
yes, in a profound way. It suggests this deep interconnectedness. Our conscious experience isn't just passively receiving data.
It's doing something.
It's actively collapsing potential states into specific experiences.
Yeah.
You, the observer, you exist in this realm of potential thoughts, feelings, sights, sounds. But the moment you pay attention, the moment you focus or choose.
One path becomes exclusive.
Exactly. One experience gets singled out. It's like how we use language. Grammar has infinite potential sentences, right?
Yeah.
But when you speak, your utterance collapses that into one specific statement.
CJ collapses grammar.
Or how our attention collapses potential into life. We bring forth a specific reality from the background noise by focusing on it.
Okay, mind officially blown.
And it gets even grander with the idea of gravitational consciousness.
Gravitational consciousness. Okay, what's that?
The idea here is that infinite potential collapses into exclusive reality by gravitational consciousness. It posits that a gravitational singularity, like the Big Bang or inside a black hole,
Isn't just dense matter.
it is consciousness, a point of consciousness seething with infinite potential, all possibilities packed in there.
Wow. Okay.
So the fundamental nature of this gravitational consciousness is to collapse into exclusive realities. That collapse is what renders the appearance of a space-time geometry and scene stories of objects, people, events, matter, etc.
So consciousness is the renderer.
In this view, yes. And it elegantly explains why we experience a coherent, continuous space-time instead of just random quantum jumps. It's not just collapsing single particles, it's weaving them into coherent geometric narratives. Structure emerges.
Giving order to the universe.
Right. It acts as the ultimate bridge that renders physics and stories. And it potentially solves the measurement problem because collapse isn't external. It's intrinsic to gravity and consciousness itself.
It's built into the system.
Exactly. It's not an observer from outside doing the collapsing. It's the fundamental nature of existence unfolding.
Are there other ideas like this? You mentioned Penrose.
Yeah, briefly, Penrose and Hameroff have a fascinating model involving gravity causing collapse, but specifically orchestrated within the microtubules of brain neurons. A gravity-driven selection with a biophysical venue.
So gravity collapses, but the brain directs it somehow.
Kind of. It's another angle connecting gravity and consciousness. But for this deep dive, the von Neumann-Wigner mind collapse idea offers perhaps a more direct philosophical link between consciousness and the act of exclusion itself.
Cleaner conceptually for this framework.
Right. And, theoretically, it even suggests potential tests like, does conscious observation delay collapse? Wild stuff to think about, even if we can't do the experiment yet.
For sure. So, okay, the collapse happens, an outcome locks in. Then what? How does the world, render? You mentioned the Bohr rule.
Right. The Bohr rule sounds technical, linear algebraic, waiting in Hilbert space.
Let's unpack that a little. Hilbert spaces.
Think of Hilbert space not as a physical place, but as a huge, abstract mathematical space, like an infinite whiteboard containing every single possible state, every potential outcome of a quantum system. All the could-busts live there.
Okay, the space of possibilities.
Exactly. And the Bohr rule is like the cosmic probability calculator for that space. It gives you the mathematical weighting or probability for each specific could-be actually happening when a measurement or collapse occurs.
So it tells you the odds for each potential outcome.
Precisely. So once that outcome is selected, once it locks in based on those probabilities, then the classical world takes over. Fields and matter start obeying general relativity, Einstein's theory of gravity that shapes large-scale spacetime.
And that's what creates the world we see.
That's what renders the metric geometry we inhabit. It builds the stage, the consistent, tangible universe we experience. It's the whole process, from quantum potential in Hilbert space, through the Bohr rule weighting and collapse, to the rendered spacetime of GR. The world rendering engine.
From fuzzy potential to solid reality.
Wow. And this whole framework, this indeterminacy exclusivity dynamic, isn't just for quantum mechanics. That's why we call it Unicode.
Unicode, like the computer standard.
Kind of analogous, yeah.
Yeah.
It's meant to signify a universal principle, something that unifies diverse domains under one single principle, selection from potential to actual.
So it applies everywhere.
Its applicability seems incredibly wide. Quantum systems, the emergence of space-time geometries, and consciousness itself. It suggests a fundamental blueprint operating across all scales.
A universal pattern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is that it seems to beautifully resolve several deep puzzles that have really stumped scientists and philosophers.
Okay, which puzzles does this help with?
Well, first, the hard problem of consciousness. How does subjective feeling, what it's like to be you, arise from just physical stuff like neurons firing?
The big mystery.
Right. This framework suggests consciousness isn't just some byproduct of the physical. Instead, it is the fundamental agent of collapse, the thing doing the actualizing. So subjective experience isn't just happening. It's a direct consequence of consciousness actively rendering reality from potential. What it's like is the feeling of that rendering process.
So consciousness isn't an outcome, it's part of the cause.
In this view, yes, fundamentally involved in the cause. Second, it tackles the measurement problem in quantum mechanics. Why does measuring a quantum system make its superposition collapse into one state?
The act of looking changes things.
Right. This framework says collapse isn't some weird extra step. It's intrinsic to gravitational consciousness. It's just what reality does. Measurement or observation is just tapping into that ongoing process. There's no separate problem. It's just the nature of reality unfolding.
Collapse is natural, not exceptional.
Precisely. Third, it offers a path towards quantum gravity unification, the big one, trying to merge general relativity, gravity, big stuff, with quantum mechanics, small stuff.
The holy grail of physics.
If gravitational consciousness is the bridge that collapses quantum potential into classical space-time geometry, then it inherently links those two realms. It provides the common ground, the unified mechanism.
Gravity and quantum mechanics meet in consciousness.
That's the implication. And finally, it really solidifies that phenomenological reframing we talked about.
Connecting it back to experience.
Exactly. It shows how indeterminacy and exclusivity aren't just abstract math. They directly map onto how we experience a definite world emerging from possibilities. It grounds the physics in our reality.
Okay, those are some major puzzles potentially resolved there.
It's a compelling picture.
And think about this. The unmanifest, pure potential becomes manifest reality through exclusivity, and even consciousness itself. You described it as an open space of potential mental states.
Right. Before thought forms, before you perceive something specific, there's this field of potential thoughts, feelings, images in your mind.
Undetermined.
But the moment you focus, choose, or a concept just crystallizes. Bang. That potential collapses into one specific, exclusive, conscious thought or perception.
My own mind follows the same pattern.
It seems to.
Let's use that hourglass analogy again, just to really drive this home. It's simple but powerful. Imagine that hourglass, but it's for, like, grains of reality, not sand.
Okay.
And only one grain, one bit of reality can flow through that narrow middle part at any single instant to create the story on the other side.
The actualized experience.
Now, could you possibly force multiple grains through that tiny opening at the exact same time?
Physically impossible in the analogy.
Right. And the exclusivity principle says the answer is just as clear for reality. Absolutely clear. Only one outcome. It leaves absolutely zero room for interpretation. Just one grain, one outcome makes it through. The one outcome only.
No ambiguity there. It's stark.
And this isn't just for physicists. This is a universal two-axis map of quantum, consciousness, and experience. It maps exactly to what you experience every day. Openness, decision.
The flow of life.
Every moment you're moving from that space of open possibilities, what you could do, say, perceive, to a definite actualized moment. This framework really transcends just quantum mechanics. It applies to how any system goes from undetermined possibility to a singular observable state.
A fundamental law of emergence.
Yeah. Whether it's a particle, a chemical reaction, or, your own life path unfolding.
So let's connect this back to the actual experiments, the evidence.
Right.
The double-slit experiment is the classic.
Classic. The clean story of waves until you look. How does it fit our framework? Well, if you have no which path info, you don't know which slit the particle went through.
You see the interference pattern. Waves.
Right. The particles act like waves, spreading out, interfering with themselves. It shows their indeterminate potential state, exploring multiple possibilities at once.
Superposition made visible.
But if which path info exists, if you measure or observe which slit the particle used,
And interference vanishes. You just see particle hits.
exactly, the wave pattern disappears. That's the collapse. A single exclusive path gets actualized from that superposition. It demonstrates that interplay, potential wave, collapses into actuality, particle, based on information.
The act of knowing forces exclusivity.
But the real, mind bender is the quantum eraser experiment, isn't it? The natural evolution of the double slit.
Oh, the eraser is the clincher. It makes that trade-off between indeterminacy and exclusivity just hyper-vivid.
How does it work again?
Okay, so like the double slit, if you mark the path, get the which path info or interference vanishes, collapse happens, standard.
Got it.
But T, and here's the crazy part, if you then erase that mark, destroy that path information completely, even after the particle has seemingly made its choice.
Wait, after?
Yes, even after it's passed the slits. If you make that information fundamentally unknowable again, the interference pattern comes back.
Whoa. How?
It's not magic. It fundamentally shows that information, or maybe even just the potential for information, plays a direct role. The quantum eraser powerfully reinforces the no co-display principle.
No co-display.
You cannot simultaneously display the interference pattern, showing potential, multiple paths, and the which path facts, showing a single exclusive path. It's one or the other. No co-display of incompatible paths. Fundamentally, only one outcome, one type of reality information is actualized at once.
You can't have your quantum cake and eat it, too.
Exactly. The universe forces a choice, even retrospectively, it seems. It shows you what you can't have simultaneously.
Okay. This all connects beautifully, then. Scientific precision meets, well, our lives, right? Existential resonance.
Absolutely. Because in our daily lives, we live in this interference cloud of possible paths.
Every morning, yeah. A million choices.
Countless potentials, weighted perhaps, some more likely than others, but our biography, your actual life story, it's not written in that cloud.
No, it's written in the choices I actually make.
It's written in exclusive path choices. Every decision, every action collapses that field into a single, definite reality. This makes the whole discussion both scientific and existential.
It's not just physics, it's life.
The exclusivity principle is a hard edge, an unavoidable boundary of experience. Exclusive actuality is the unavoidable law of experience. You can imagine being in both New York and LA right now.
Holding both potentials in my mind. Indeterminacy.
Right. But your lived reality, your actual experience right now, it's exclusively one or the other. Exclusivity. You can't be in both places. It's the structure of your life moment by moment.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up. We've gone through a lot of complex physics, philosophy, but really what we've done is sharpened Bohr, haven't we? Paired him more cleanly with Heisenberg.
Clarified their relationship, yeah. Taken those brilliant initial insights and given them a clearer structure. The scientific precision is there. Indeterminacy, Heisenberg, plus exclusivity, Bohr sharpened. Complementarity.
It's not just a vague balance anymore.
No. We've reframed complementarity from something Einstein found fuzzy into this formal cross structure, the indeterminacy exclusivity cruciform, and that really feels like the Holy Grail synthesis.
The Holy Grail. That's a bold claim.
Well, think about it. It's a universal two-axis map of quantum, consciousness, and experience. It applies across the board.
Okay.
And this cruciform reality structure is what makes it feel like that.
Mm.
There's this profound structural isomorphism. The same fundamental pattern showing up in physics, in consciousness, even in ancient myths and symbols.
Just same shape everywhere.
It seems so. Let's look at that isomorphism. Think about the crucifixion archetype, not just religiously, but structurally.
Okay.
The vertical beam, infinite potential, reaching up heaven, the open possibility space. The horizontal beam, finite outcome, the earthly plane, the actual decision, the single manifestation. The cross is where infinite potential intersects finite outcome, where possibility meets actuality, creating the world and our experience in it.
Infinite meets finite.
Or the yin-yang symbol, the interplay of complementary forces, light-dark, potential actual, each containing the seed of the other. Indeterminacy and exclusivity are like that, distinct but inseparable, defining each other.
A dynamic.
Then there's the simple coin analogy. Heads, collapse, the actual outcome. Tails was potential, the possibilities before the flip, and the rim, that thin edge. That's the event horizon of experience, the moment potential flips into actual.
The transition point.
And finally, the singularity idea. Not just a point in space, but a conscious origin, seething with infinite potential, collapsing to render reality. All these different domains, physics, experience, myth, point to this same underlying two-axis structure, indeterminacy and exclusivity. The cross.
And the experiments back it up. No co-display.
No experiment, from double slit to quantum eraser, has ever shown both interference, potential, and which path knowledge, actuality, for the same particle at the same time. It's physically unyielding evidence for this exclusivity.
Okay, so before the measurement, before the choice, it's all just potential.
A field of weighted potentials, yeah. And this Holy Grail synthesis, this cruciform structure, it gives us a profoundly new way to understand not just physics, but the whole universe consciousness experience. It suggests existing as this ongoing process of potential becoming actual.
That's a lot to take in. What an incredible journey today.
It really is mind-bending stuff.
We've dived deep into how indeterminacy, that boundless openness, infinite potential, and exclusivity, the necessary collapse into one definite outcome, aren't just, weird physics concepts.
The fundamental?
They seem to be the very fabric of our experience, the foundation of consciousness, maybe the underlying structure of the entire universe.
This Holy Grail synthesis offers that unifying lens, yeah?
Yeah.
A way to view quantum mechanics, consciousness, even our daily choices, all through the same framework.
How the unmanifest becomes manifest, how the possible becomes real.
A powerful, elegant idea.
Well, thank you for joining us on this really deep dive into such profound territory. And thanks to you, the listener, for coming along and unpacking these revolutionary ideas with us.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
Now, just one final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. If our biography, our life story, is truly written in these exclusive path choices, and if every single moment is literally a collapse from infinite potential into one singular actuality, what might that imply about the real nature of free will? And maybe more importantly, what does it say about the profound significance, the weight of each and every choice we make?
Heavy questions.
They are. We invite you to reflect on your own experiences through this clarifying lens of indeterminacy and exclusivity. See if it resonates.